All right, good day, everyone. You're welcome to this week's class of PHY412 Research Methodology. My name is Dr. Yahya. So, in this course, these are the topics we're going to treat: nature of scientific inquiry, scientific methods, induction and deduction, hypothesis and theory and their interpretation, nature and scope of research, planning of research, selection of a problem for research, sample size, research design, important aspects of research design, methods of data collection, use of secondary data, and so on, up to quantitative tools. That's tools for testing for hypothesis and forecasting techniques. These are some of the recommended textbooks. The first one is Research Methodology and Scientific Writing by George Thomas, the second edition. The second recommended book is Fundamental of Research Methodology and Statistics by Kumar Singh and Research Methodology by Shraddha Boom and others. So there are about 6 authors in the third recommended textbook. You can use any one of the books. So the first part, which is what we treat in this week's class, is Introduction to Research. So what is research? The nature of research, the aims of research, the types of research, the process of research, the purpose of research. So these are the subtopics that will be treated in this week's class. What is research? So research means research. That is, again, to search for knowledge. So research means to search for knowledge. Okay, to search for new knowledge. So it is the search for knowledge through objective and systematic method of finding solution to problems. So research can be defined as a process of systematic and in-depth study or search of any particular topic or subject area or investigation that is backed by collection, computation, presentation, and interpretation of relevant data. Research can also be said to be a structured inquiry that makes use of acceptable scientific methodology to solve certain problems and to create new knowledge that is generally applicable. So when someone says he is undertaking a research to find answers to some questions, so we imply that the process, number one, is being undertaken within a certain framework, okay, within using certain approaches that are acceptable. And the process uses procedures or methods or techniques that have been tested over time, okay, that have been tested to be valid, that have been tested to be reliable over time. So we also want the process of the research, okay, such that it is designed to be unbiased and objective. So we'll go into the details later. The nature or characteristics of research. So as we stated earlier, that research is a process of collecting, analyzing, and interpreting information to answer certain questions. But for something, a task, to be qualified as research, the process of that research must have certain characteristics. What are those characteristics? One of them is that it must be controlled. The second one is that it must be systematic. It must be rigorous. It must be valid and verifiable. It must be empirical and critical. What do we mean? By controlled, what we mean is that the concept of control implies that in exploring causality in relation to two variables, you set up your study in a way that minimizes the effect of other factors affecting the relationship. What does this mean? Let's say you want to test the implication of a particular drug in treating malaria. So what you must have a control group. Okay, so you divide your sample size or the sample design into two. The first part, you administer the drug to them. The second part, you do not administer the drug. Then you study the effects of the drug on the group that you administered the drug on. Okay, so it must be controlled. So this is what we mean by being controlled. Then it must be valid and verifiable. So if you have carried out a research Someone else must be able to verify your findings. Someone else must be able to check if what you have done is correct. Someone else must be able to follow the process that you followed and reach the same conclusion. So this is what we mean by valid and verifiable. Also, the process must be empirical. That is, any conclusions drawn are based upon hard evidence that are gathered from information collected or from experiments or from observations. So if it is in the social sciences, so we can say information collected from experiences, in scientific research from the lab, so data that you collected from the lab or observations. Sometimes you observe certain phenomena and record. So that's what we mean by it must be what? Empirical. Then it must be critical. So critical scrutiny of the procedures used and the methods employed is crucial to a research inquiry. The procedure that you have used must be scientific procedure, okay, must be a procedure that is acceptable, and the methods that you have used must be methods that have been widely accepted to be valid. They're rigorous. So you must ensure that the procedures followed to find answers to questions that are relevant, appropriate, and justified. Systematic. The process must be systematic. The procedure used to carry out such an investigation must follow certain logical sequence. Okay, we'll talk about the sequence shortly. So the different steps cannot be taken in a haphazard manner. Okay, it must be procedural. Okay, it must be systematic, procedural. Aims of research. Now, the purpose of research is to find answers to questions through the application of scientific procedures. The main aim of research is to find out the truth, which is hidden and which has not been discovered yet. So research objectives may be classified into the following. Number one, to gain familiarity with the phenomenon or to achieve new insights into it. Okay, what we mean here is that you may want to familiarize yourself with a certain phenomenon. Okay, so you develop a phenomenon, you carry out research on that phenomenon. For example, you may want to know what are the causes of malaria. Okay, what are the causes of malaria? So you may want to familiarize yourself with the causes of malaria. Then another purpose of research is to portray accurately the characteristics of a particular individual, situation, or a group. Another purpose is to determine the frequency with which something occurs, okay, or with which it is associated with something else. For example, you may want to determine what are the months of the year that will have high amount of rainfall. What are the months of the year that will have high amount of sunlight, and so on and so forth. Then to test the hypothesis of a causal relationship between variables. Okay, so this is another objective of research. What are the types of research? So we can group research into these categories. The first one is the descriptive and analytical research. The second one, applied and fundamental research. The third, quantitative and qualitative research. The fourth, conceptual and empirical research. So these are like words and opposites. So descriptive is different from analytical. Applied research is different from fundamental research. Quantitative research is different from qualitative research. Conceptual research is different from empirical research. So the first one, descriptive versus analytical, that's the first one. Now, in descriptive research includes surveys and fact-finding inquiries of different kinds. Okay, the main characteristics of this method, of the descriptive research method, is that the researcher has no control over the variable. The observer or the researcher can only report what has happened. For example, maybe you are carrying out certain experiments in the lab and you need to record certain observations. For example, you are observing some microbes and you observe that some microbes are eating maybe certain materials. So you just have to record that, okay, this particular microbe eats this material. Okay, why these microbes are unable to eat this material. Okay, so that is descriptive research. So you just record what you have observed. Then the analytical research. Analytical research has to use facts or information that are already available in the literature, and the researcher analyze those facts, those information, to make critical evaluation of the material. Then applied versus fundamental research. Applied research aims at finding a solution for an immediate problem facing a society or an industrial or business organization. Whereas fundamental research is mainly concerned with generalizations and with the formulation of a theory. What does this mean? For applied research, for example, in Nigeria we have problem with electricity. So somebody may want to do an applied research to find a solution to electricity problem in Nigeria. That is, what are the alternatives? Somebody may think of what are the alternative sources of energy that are cheap, okay, and that could be explored in Nigeria. Now, but fundamental research, they are not aimed at solving an immediate societal problem. Okay, so fundamental research, they add to our body of knowledge. Okay, so if somebody carries out a fundamental research, so the person is contributing to already existing organized body of scientific knowledge. But fundamental research does not really aim at solving an immediate societal or industrial problem. Now, quantitative versus qualitative research. In quantitative research, this is based on the measurement of quantity or an amount. Okay, this is applicable to phenomena that can be expressed in terms of quantity, unlike qualitative research, okay, which has nothing to do with numbers. Okay, so quantitative research involves the collection of data in narrative form to understand a particular process or phenomenon. So one includes data that is recorded in numerical form, while the other one does not include data recorded in numerical form. Conceptual versus empirical research. So conceptual research is related to theoretical so theories. So let's put it that way, theories. Okay, and this is generally used by philosophers, thinkers, and those in theoretical physics or theoretical science in general. While empirical research relies on experience, observation, something that can be carried out in the laboratory, experiment, and so on. What are the process of research? So the following are the various steps, okay, that can be useful. Okay, various procedural guidelines that can be followed in a research process. Number one, you formulate the research problem. What problem do you want to solve? You must know the research problem. So anytime you are presenting your final year report, we want to see the research problem. It's very, very important. What problem do you want to solve? Then extensive literature survey. After you have identified the problem, the research problem, then you need to do extensive literature survey. You need to go to the literature and study what has been done so far, what has been reported. Okay, so for example, somebody wants to do a research. The research problem is finding alternative sources of electricity in Nigeria. So it means you must look at literatures, or that is papers that have been published or books that have been written on alternative sources of energy. So you need to study them in detail. And in the 21st century, one method that you can use is you can go to scholar.google.com, scholar.google.com. After getting into the page, so you can just type alternative sources of energy. Then you press enter. So Google will bring out all the papers, publications, journals, conference proceedings, textbooks that are available on the topic. Then you develop a hypothesis. and you prepare the research design. You determine the sample design. What sample size do you want to use? Why do you want to use that sample size? Collection of data. So after determining or after choosing a specific sample design, so how do you collect your data? The execution of the project. So you carry out the project. After executing the project, that is the actual research, then you analyze the data that you have collected. Then you test the hypothesis, okay, that you have proposed here on this section 3, this number 3. Okay, so you test the hypothesis, and after that you generalize and you interpret your data. Then after that you prepare your reports, maybe for publication, or for, if it's your final year project, then your project report. Purpose of research. The purpose of research, number 1, progress and good life. Okay, so this is one of the main purpose of carrying out research. Okay, to make progress in life and to make life better. For example, we have cars now. So in the olden days, people will travel using camels or donkeys or walk and so on. But now we have cars, we have aeroplanes, we have ships and so on. So we have smartphones, okay, we have laptops and so on. So these are the outcome of research. Then the second purpose is the development of scientific attitude. That is, we want to know why. We want to know how things work, or why things are the way they are. Why do apples fall from the mango tree, or from the apple tree? Okay, why do we throw, if we throw an object up and it will come down, what is responsible for that? We want to know why. Okay, we also want to know how things are happening. How is the process of lightning and thunder? Okay, we want to know what is causing lightning, what is causing thunder. So somebody may want to carry out his research to ask these questions, why and how. So this is another purpose of research. Another purpose of research is creativity and innovativeness. So encouragement to creativity and innovation. So through that, we can get new products, like I mentioned earlier, like your smartphones. And every year we come up with new, latest versions of phones and apps and so on. Then testing hypotheses and establishing theories. One may also carry out research. Let's say there is an established theory. One may want to prove if the theory is still valid, maybe apply it to another data. For example, somebody in nuclear physics, many of the theories that have been proposed in nuclear physics focused on stable nuclei. So somebody may want to test. Now we have radioactive ion beam facilities which are producing unstable nuclei. So somebody will want to test these new unstable nuclei against the existing theoretical models. Okay, so this could be one of the purpose of research. Another purpose of research is prediction and control. Prediction and control. For example, this applies to the case of weather. Okay, so when you study weather, and if you understand the dynamics of the weather, then we can make prediction that, in this month, in the month of July, there's going to be heavy rainfall. In the month of March, there will be no rainfall. And if we are able to make these predictions, then this can assist, for example, farmers in planning when they are going to plant their seeds. Then another purpose of research is purposive development. Development equals growth plus change. Another purpose of research is problem solving. Problem solving. So we identify a problem, then we do research, okay, to solve that particular problem. Then another purpose is schematic evaluation. So research is also carried out to systematically evaluate a process or practice of an organization to know its strengths and weaknesses so that areas for improvement can be identified. Another purpose of research is impact analysis and methodological improvement. So we may want to carry out for example, what I mentioned earlier, the case of stable nuclei and unstable nuclei. So one may test if the existing theories that were developed for stable nuclei can be applied for unstable nuclei, or if there is need to develop new methods, okay, new methodology, okay. So that could be another purpose of research. Okay, so this is where we stop today. So we'll continue next week. Thank you.